I don't have my gumball machine for us to look at, but I do have this jelly bean machine. So I want you to go ahead and look at this jelly bean machine and see what you can notice about the shape and the size and some of the different parts that are part of it. Did you notice the lid to the top of the globe? Did you notice the metal panel? Or the arm for coins? Or the hole for coins? Or the spout where the candy comes out? Or the actual base of the whole thing? Those are all of the shapes and the parts that we are going to need to make our circles into gumball machines. So let's take a look at how to do that with drawing and cutting today. The first thing you need to do is cut out your circle that we made last week filled with gumballs. If you did it on a paper plate, you can leave it the way it is, or you can cut the very edge so that you are left with just the 3D part and we don't have this extra lip. So let me show you what I mean. So you can start by cutting a little bit in and then turn the plate and cut all the way around the paper plate. So you can do this if you want to. If you don't want to, if you want to just leave it as is, that is a-okay too. Doesn't matter to me which one you pick. I like to make it just a little bit smaller, but that is your choice. If you have the circle that you filled with dots on just paper, you do the same thing, but you just cut out your circle on the line. So all you're left with is your gumballs on that line. And yes, you're going to cut off some of your gumballs, but it's important that we don't see whatever line you drew to make your circle. So the line for the circle should not be part of it, just the circle filled with the gumballs. Okay? That's step number 1. We also need a rectangle to make the part where the coin goes in. So today, instead of drawing first, we're going to use the edge of a piece of paper. And we're just going to say, okay, this is already like a square or a rectangle. And we're going to just cut a straight line coming up from that edge, turn our paper, and do a straight line going across and meeting. And this is for the place where our coins would go in to the machine. So that adds on our next shape. Step number 2 is to make the top of your circle. Now we want the top to match up with the size of your circle. So the best way that I've found to do this is to move your circle to the very top corner of paper. Now, if you don't have any colored construction paper, you can do this with white paper that you then color, and that's okay too. But I have some construction paper, so that's what I'm going to use, but you're welcome to use whatever you have at home. So I'm lining it up as close as I can to that top edge and to the side edge, because I don't want to waste a lot of construction paper. If I were to put this here, I could still do the project, but look at all that wasted paper. That's a lot of waste. So I'm going to move as far up into the corner as I can so the paper of the circle touches. And then before I start tracing, I'm just going to shift it down just a little bit, okay? Because what I want to do is I actually want to draw my circle, and I'm going to use a marker for this actually. I'm going to draw the edge a little bit outside. So I know sometimes when we trace, we draw right along the edge, but this time we're going to go a little bit bigger. So I'm going to draw a straight line coming out, and then I'm going to sort of copy where that circle is, and then a straight line there. I'm going to move my circle out of the way, and I'm going to connect my 2 straight lines with another straight line, just like that. There is my lid that I'm going to cut out and glue right onto this circle. And if you have the paper plate version, you can do the same exact thing. Okay? And the last shape we need is we need to make the shape for the body of the machine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my circle that is for my gumball machine, and I'm going to line it up with the edge on the bottom of the gumball machine. See that? And I'm going to move it, you know, up or down as I think I need to kind of meet up with that. And then I'm going to line up again with the edge of the paper at the top, so I'm not going to waste. And then I'm going to move it over just a little bit. I don't want to move it over a lot, but just a little bit, because I don't want to draw straight lines for this. I'm going to draw lines that go out just a little bit. So almost like a triangle, but not quite. But I am going to trace along the bottom of my circle. And then I'm going to draw a nice long line coming down at an angle till it meets up with the edge of the paper. And I'm going to try to copy how much of an angle I did over on this side. So it's not very much, but it should be nice and long. And I'm going to just draw a straight line here to begin with. And then I'm going to try to draw that nice long line coming down, just like that. Then I'm going to go ahead and cut out this funky shape, including my curve, okay? When I was cutting, I happened to have some small pieces of paper that came off, and I'm actually going to use these as my next little part. I'm going to turn this wonky, funky shape into a circle. Watch how I do this. I'm going to take it and I'm going to look for any corners that I have, and I'm just going to cut those corners off. So they're going to go right off and onto the table. Okay, now I've got even more of a funky shape, but that's okay. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to take it, I'm going to cut off my corners. Cutting off those corners means that I'm going to start getting more and more of a circle shape. And when you feel like you have a close enough circle, you can call it good. So I need one of those to make the top of my gumball machine.